Hello everyone, hope everybody's doing great today. Appreciate those who watch this video. I hope you enjoy it. Also appreciate those of you who subscribe. Thank you very much for your subscription. Today we're talking about the Last of the Mohicans, not the Daniel Day-Lewis version of Last of the Mohicans. Silly. We're going to be talking about the 1932 version of the Last of the Mohicans. And while I was looking at this for this movie, I found out that there's a 1920 version that's a silent film. So I think I'm going to look that up too and watch it and see how it is. So first off, I really do enjoy the Daniel Day-Lewis. It is Daniel Day-Lewis, right? I'm not just saying his name, am I? Version of The Last of the Mohicans. I was actually looking for that one and I found this one, and Amazon Prime doesn't have the other one. I don't want to rent it. So I settled for this version. And a little comparison between the two. It's been like 30 years since I've seen the newer version of The Last of the Mohicans, so there's only certain areas I remember. But overall, it is there's a lot of similarities and differences in this one. But we're going to be talking about this one, and maybe if I ever able to watch the newer one, I can make a fair comparison. Anyways, enough about that stuff. Let's talk about the 1930 version of The Last of the Mohicans. So this movie... let's talk about, there's like 3 prejudices in this movie. You see that you got the British here and how they are very, I don't know, pampered, I guess you can say. They're very soft. Let's say soft, and they dress elegantly in this movie. And you got their powder wigs, and, you know, they talk like they're high society and top of the world. And then their prejudices are against the good old colonists, and they're always wearing their coonskin hats and their buckskins and stuff like that. So you kind of got those prejudices between the British and then the colonists, whatever, I'm mispronouncing that word, I apologize. And then you have the prejudice between the colonists and how they kind of look down upon the Native Americans. And then the Native Americans kind of look down upon both of them because they think they're morons because they don't know anything about the wild and nature. So you got this ring of prejudices going on in this movie, which is kind of fascinating while you're watching it. Especially, it's very evident at the beginning of the movie while you're watching it, and how the 3 groups interact with each other. Especially on the British side, you got, as you see behind me here, you got the Indians, you know, interacting with the British, and the British talk to them a little different. And then, you know, just how they communicate. I like that part of the script. I think it's very well done. I did study a little bit of history. I do have a degree in history. So, you know, I do like how they portrayed them. And then, so this movie does take place during the French and Indian War, which, you know, the British wins the French and Indian War, also known as the 70-Year Itch. I mean, the 70-Year War. Anyways, terrible joke, sorry, but let's continue on here. So this war between the French and the British, as shown in this movie, it's more like a gentleman war. You know, you are killing each other, but you're not really aiming to kill the generals or the leaders of the other army. And when one does surrender, it's more of a gentlemanly surrender. You're not beating them. You're not putting them in prison. And this is kind of like one of the conflicts of the movie. Because the Indians, you know, they don't think that way. If you're going to go to war, you're out there to eliminate the other tribe, to eliminate your enemies. So when the French agreed to let the British pass, the Indians kind of take this personal because, you know, these British people has killed their brothers, you know, their other tribesmen. So they want, you know, blood, you know, they want to eliminate them completely. Not this, you know, gentleman handshake and you get to go back to Britain. And if you don't know your history, that's how, you know, the French and Indian War or the 7-Year War was fought. You surrendered, and depending on the surrender, you know, most likely you got to get sent back to your homeland, and you agreed not to fight again. Sometimes they fulfilled that agreement, and sometimes they didn't. But hey, you know, that's life for you. So the Native Americans, you know, they go and they try to wipe out the rest of the British colonies, and they end up kidnapping the 2 girls. And of course, you got our hero colonist here, who's like the Daniel Day-Lewis character. Him and the guy who has a little bit of a crush on one of the girls to go and try to rescue him, and they have, you know, two Native Americans who are the last of the Mohicans. And so you do got like a tragic love story, which is kind of well told in this one. You can actually kind of see the beginning of the relationship between the Native American and this British girl, and how they first interact, and how they start to gain feelings for each other as the movie progresses. Also with the way between our male lead and our female lead in this movie, you get to see that way. I do kind of like that relationship a little bit more, because at first it's kind of like a hate relationship, or not really liking each other. She's kind of looking down on him because he's a colonist, going back to that prejudice theme of the movie. But as the movie progresses, she gets more respect for him. He gets more respect for her. Sees that she's just not a girly woman, but she's actually somebody who could survive in the colonies. So you get that progressing. Like I said, there's a lot of similarities between this movie, of course, because both are about the same subject matters, but there are some differences. Like, I don't remember, and this is where my I haven't seen the movie in 30 years comes in. I don't remember a siege on a fort in the newer movie with Daniel Day-Lewis as there is in this one. I just remember at the beginning, the British are walking along the path and they get hijacked by the Indians because they're upset of the treaty greeting. That's how I remember the movie starting. And then I just remember the other part where they're fighting on a cliff and they die. That's re-enters this movie as well. That's a scene that not resurfaces, I guess, because this is the first one, so I don't know. It's whatever, that scene is in this movie. I'm gonna recommend this. If you like old movies, this is the one for you. The Last of the Mohicans. If you like the original Last of the Mohicans, try this one out. I think you enjoy it. It's just as good as this one. I mean, the fighting scenes are not as good as the newer version, but they still hold up pretty good. You do got a lot of fighting scenes. You do cut a little bit. You get you get a deeper perspective of the leaders and the interactions between the natives and the colonists and the Britons in this one. I think they're pretty realistic. Just the history that I've done and studying that I've done on that subject, I feel like it's pretty good. Well represented in this movie. Plus, it's the 1930s, so it's not too far off. I mean, it's only like 100 some years. But a lot of these people probably lived until like 1850s, and so you got grandkids and great grandkids still alive that might have heard stories. So that might influence the writers in writing this. So overall, I think it's pretty good. I think you enjoy it. The acting's really well done. Like I said, the fighting's pretty well done as well. Overall, I'll give this one a recommend, especially, if you like that story. Highly recommend it if you like the story. I think it's very well done. And I'm going to try the silent movie and see, the differences. I do like silent movies a little bit. Not my favorite, but I can enjoy a good silent movie. Anyways, have a great day, and maybe until next time, bye.